In this tutorial, I want to give a few tips for teachers that are now starting with online teaching. You will be able to find a lot of other useful videos on YouTube on this topic. Starting to teach your lessons online and creating an online course might seem like a big challenge at first. However, it does not have to be. You also do not have to spend a lot of money on expensive software. What you do need is a personal computer like a laptop or a tablet. You also will need a stable and reliable internet connection. You will need to acquire software, but you do not have to buy expensive software packages. There are a lot of free software out there that you can use to do a full online course. And as a specialist yourself, you need to use your knowledge and think of how you can creatively present your work to your students. I have added some links that you can find on YouTube where they discuss free screen recording software that you can use to record your lessons on your device and some free video editing software as well. Here they discuss at least 5 different recording software and editing software that you can use that might be useful to you. Let's look at a few things that you will need to consider when you are preparing your online lessons. Encourage your students to apply the same practical and sensible measurements that you would while you are preparing for your lessons. Work structured and logical. Naming of your files and documents is essential and must be informative. The same goes for the students. Convert all your documents to PDF where possible. This will especially prove valuable if your students are using phones or tablets. Files that are correctly named and saved in PDF format can easily be marked on your tablet or your PC, and if you have a stylus available, this is a plus. Try to be as clear and detailed, meaning that you have to be as informative as possible when you are communicating your instructions to your students. Where possible, reply as soon as possible to any of the queries from the students. It is so easy to forget or respond to what the questions was that your students had once you get busy with your marking or preparing for your next lesson. Have the lesson pre-recorded and upload it to your cloud server. Share or upload videos after lessons conclude. Upload all worksheets and memos prior to start of lessons and share when required or done with lessons and or your assessments. Have lesson documents that are to be discussed open on your PC prior to the start of streaming online. Discussion and feedback is essential. Correspondence must happen publicly and visible to everyone. This will prevent repeats because the question that one student have is usually the same question that the next one might have. If at all possible, use a second monitor from which you do the streaming online. That means that your base PC is going to be hidden from your students, meaning that the screen of your laptop will not be visible to your students, while they will only see what is on your second monitor. And then all students must also have their documents, notes, and textbooks and any or other material ready before your teaching of the lesson starts. Here is an example of how you can have a proper file setup on a cloud server like Google Drive, OneDrive, Digo, or Dropbox. There are many other cloud services also available, and some of them are free with your subscription, like for example like Microsoft and OneDrive. It is also wise to back up your work on more than one of these cloud services on a daily basis. It might also be a good idea to have your work on a static drive or a memory drive as an additional backup that you can carry along with you. Here are some procedures that I can apply while I'm conducting my lesson online. Like with a normal class, I could start with the attendance register and tick off the names in my file of the students that I've logged on successfully onto my lesson and that are live on the platform that I am using. I will also make sure that I have ticked off the homework that was handed in and those who have emailed me the work correctly in PDF format. And this was also a good time to inform those that haven't done as required and that they need to fix the problem as soon as possible. Now I will hand out all the documents either live on the platform that I am using, or I would have uploaded it onto Google Cloud, and this they can then access at a later stage as well. Or if anybody was absent, they can then go and retrieve all of these documents on the cloud service. As I am teaching my lesson, I can do a live streaming or I can be busy with a pre-recorded message that I voice over or where I comment alongside. It is very important to have continuous interaction with the students during this lesson. If it is a pre-recording, you can pause the recording and then give feedback. This procedure works very nicely in Microsoft Teams. I will also give the students the ability to now start with the classwork or a short exercise that I have been teaching them in this session, and then they can do a live collaboration with me about the work. Once the lesson is concluded, I can then save and upload all of the video material for that lesson onto the cloud service, and I can also then hand out all the marked work and the assessments that I've done with the prior lesson, and this can also then be easily accessed by the students online. I normally create an individual folder for each student on the cloud service, and they alone, along with me and their parents, have access to their file. I also make sure to give feedback to the students either with the marking on the work that they have handed in and I have given back, or by doing it online after the lesson with each individual. Then we can also update our mark sheets and make sure that we've backed that up onto the cloud service. And where necessary, we also then will communicate with the parents, and they will also have the ability to log on to our live lessons, and it's very important for them to understand and know what the teacher is busy teaching these students and what the problems are that the teacher might have discovered with the work and their child. As mentioned before, there are a lot of free software packages available on the market. There are also those that you can buy or have a subscription for. These all you can use for your online lessons, either to prepare or record your lessons. Over the years, I have made use of YouTube to upload many of my videos that I've created for my subject. The students can easily access these videos via YouTube. They can subscribe to the channel and then get any regular updates on videos that I have uploaded to YouTube. I can do also live streaming on YouTube, and the students can log in while this streaming is happening. This I can have open publicly, or I can have a private session with my students within YouTube itself. I always encourage my students to create a Gmail account, although there are plenty of other services available as well that are just as good to use. However, I like to use Gmail because it's easy to communicate with my students using my Google Drive that I share with them and to send the emails and links that they require. You also have the benefit of having a 15 gigabyte of drive space for free, and then it is also directly linked to your YouTube account, and the students then get alerted whenever I have sent through to them a new or uploaded a new video on YouTube. So after they've created their Gmail account, I use this small explanation of how they go about to access their Google Drive and to access the resources that I have provided for them. Once I have confirmation from the students that they've created their Gmail account and that they can access my Google Drive via the links that I've shared with them, I make sure that all the videos that I've uploaded to YouTube was also uploaded to my Google Drive account. This way the students cannot say that they didn't have access to YouTube or couldn't find the videos on YouTube, because all of those videos are also available on my Google Drive account, and this is also accessible to the students and their parents on Google Drive. I'll also make sure that they understand that they do not download all of the videos simultaneously, because some of them might have a limited data package. It's only if you have unlimited internet that you can obviously download these videos then at home as well. And then then you do not need to have internet connection when you do revision of the work. Once I've created a folder with content on Google Drive, I sent an email to all of my students, and this is just an example of the invite that they will receive, and they can click on either the file with the blue description at the top of the invite, or they can just click on the open button at the bottom of the invite that was sent to their Gmail accounts. It is imperative that you have a regular and complete updated contact data list of your students and parents, and that they have your contact details readily available, and that they make use of the emails so that you have written proof of the communication that has been happening between you and the student and the parents. This is also useful for them to receive any additional information or help that you might want to share with the parent or the student for future lessons. Once I have all the emails of the parents and the students and my Gmail account is set up according to my classes, it is very easy now to go and tag all of the correspondence that happened between me, the students, and the parents. And this is useful for when I am referring back to a certain issue or correspondence that happened between us. One of the biggest challenges that I had to face over the years with online teaching was the naming of documents. It is very important for the students to realize that the naming of their documents must be direct and informative, so that I know whose document it is that I received when I do my cataloging, as I received all the incoming emails. This can become a nightmare if the emails have not been labeled properly and the documents haven't been labeled properly, because you most of the times will download all of the work received from your students, and then at a later stage you would like to mark them as soon as you get the opportunity, and then you have to open the document and hope that there is a name on the document itself. So therefore I encourage my students that they have to label their documents correctly before they upload it. As you can see on this example, it is impossible to tell without opening that document what in which class that student was and for what purpose that lesson was, or the material that I've received. And therefore, if they have not added their name inside of the document, obviously once I've downloaded everything, it would be impossible to know to whom that document belonged. So that is why it's so important that the students understand that they have to label their documents properly and that they have to upload it into PDF format. Each teacher will need to decide for themselves how they would like their students to label their documents. I would, however, recommend that all of your students in your class name their files exactly the same way and upload it into PDF, as discussed before. This way, the student will then email me their work and I will download it and put it in their respective folders on my Google Drive, or they can upload their work onto their folder into Google Drive directly. And then I will download this and mark the work and load it back up for them or email it back to them. Lately, this is the method that I like to use to teach my students for how I want them to label their document. because obviously if you teach a lot of grades, more than one grade and more than one subject, it might be useful to use this method. Therefore, I ask them to start off with their grade number, then underscore, and then the name and the surname of the student, and then underscore and the lesson number. And obviously they have to make sure that the extension of the file is .pdf. Once I've received all of the exercises that my students have done, I would download that from my Google Drive onto the tablet directly. Because it is in PDF format, it doesn't matter on which device they want to access it and in which device I want to access it. I can easily mark it now on my tablet, and if you have a stylus, this process is very easy, and I can give my comments and feedback on the document, and I can use this in a live streaming with that individual while we or after we have conducted a class, so that they can actually see what it is that I have assessed on their work and why they have lost certain marks for certain activities. I like to share as much information as possible with my students, and therefore I upload all the content of the past and any content that we are currently busy with or content that we might use for future onto the Google Drive that I share with them. However, I make sure they understand the importance of copyright, and they are not allowed to share any of the information or links that I share with them to a third party, because we want to protect the integrity of the person that developed the content as well as that of the school, and the students need to understand that all of the materials used only for educational purpose and no financial gain. It is also important to be mindful of not exposing your students to any content or material that might be presented with links that you share, like on YouTube, where there might be videos similar to the topics that you use that is inappropriate for their age, and you would like to make sure that they understand that they have to do these things under supervision. And it's also always useful to type into the search bar of any topic that you want them to research and see what the result delivers on the live engine, so that when they access that material, that there's not something inappropriate that shows up within that environment that they are busy doing research on. I also make available to my students some easy instructions of how they can access my YouTube channel, and also give them instructions on how to access other resources that they might need for our lessons in the future. I quickly want to make use of PowerPoint to demonstrate how to make a recording of your lesson that you can upload to your cloud service. So this tutorial has been made in PowerPoint. So what you need to do is look at the title bar where it says slideshow, and if you click on the drop down under the icon under record slideshow, you will be able to then access more features for your recording. Here are the options that will display once you've clicked on the drop down under record slideshow. Here you can say record from a current slide, or you can record from the beginning. I always make use of the record from a current slide, so that I only record the voiceover on that particular slide that I'm busy using. If you have made a mistake on your recording, you will then make use of the clear narration of all the slides, or just of the one particular slide if there is a narration on one slide that you want to delete and not on the entire show of your presentation. Because I'm using a second monitor, I've made a print screen which I just now edited in Paint and then displayed it here on the screen for you to see. On the left you will see the display of what the student will see when I am busy making my recording, and on the right hand side is what will be on the screen of my monitor, the main monitor. And obviously you can also manipulate what you are doing from there, and the students will not see what is happening on the recording. You can use your pen tool to write on your recording on your secondary monitor, and you can also see the next slide that will not be available to your students on your main screen. And then there are several other features that you can also go and research and see what they can be made useful for in your recordings. So let us take a closer look at what is available on my main screen. Remember, this is what the students will not be able to see. At the bottom right hand corner, you will see there is a square black box. That is where your camera will take a picture of you if you have your camera available. Because I'm using a secondary monitor, I've disabled my camera because I don't like seeing myself while I record. However, some teachers like to do this because they would like their students to see their face while they are having a discussion. Then you will see that at the bottom right underneath the black box there are three icons: a microphone, a video camera, and then an icon of a person. Now that is what you will enable or disable as you need it for displaying yourself in the black box while you are busy recording. If you do not want yourself to be visible in that black box, then you will just disable the first two, and I will discuss this in the next slide. So here on the top left of your screen, you will see the indication that I have encircled where it says turn off your camera, or in the preview for the camera. And you can then also at the bottom left see where I've disabled now the black box. And then do not forget to also disable the camera on the left of that person icon, because obviously otherwise it will still show a box on your recording itself. On the top left hand corner of your main screen, you will see there you can start and stop your recordings, and then you can also replay what you have recorded during that particular slide. At the bottom, you will be able to use your pen tool and highlighters, which you can now use to draw on your secondary screen and explain certain features to your students. This is just a friendly tip on my side, based on mistakes that I've made in the past, and sometimes still do make, is that we must always keep in mind that you must keep your work and your lessons that you record simple. Sometimes the font that we use, or the pictures that we use, or animations that we use can be very distracting to learners that has got dyslexia, or that has ADD or ADHD, or have been diagnosed with any of these challenges. So therefore keep that in mind while you are busy doing your lesson. So keep things simple. I also have made use of WordPress.com to create a free website channel on which I can upload different content for my students. And this website I do not maintain on a regular basis. However, there are a lot of content that I can share with them that they can easily and directly access onto the website itself for any lessons, or something that they could find interesting regarding a topic, or something that I would refer back to for lessons that we've done in the past. I like to share with my students any free software that I can find on the internet that they can use for my subject or for any other subjects. And here's an example of GIMP, which is similar to Photoshop, but is an open source software package that you can use for drawing and photo manipulation. And this is definitely worthwhile for the students to use, and it doesn't have a big download. Blender is one of my all-time favorites. It's a software that is also freely available on internet. It does not have a big download, and it has a very strong community support. It is a software that requires a bit of a steep learning curve. However, there are more and more videos available on YouTube for beginners that explains how to make use of this. For any student in design or engineering, this can be very useful even in game development. For the subject that I teach, which is engineering, graphics and design and technology, SketchUp is also a very useful tool. This is a professional software that architects can use and purchase. However, you do get the free version, which is the online version for SketchUp, called SketchUp Make. And you can use this as part of your lessons, or the students can download this or use it directly on their browser And it does have also a feature where you can download a 30-day trial version of the software package. However, the online browsing version of the software is also very good, and I definitely make use of this to explain the transformation between 2D and 3D and basic design principles for my students. Hexagon is also an amazing 3D design software package that is for free that you can find on dash3d.com. A very good program for explaining also the design of 3D models. This will also help students that are interested in doing game design one day. Solid Edge is also one of my favorite software packages that are freely available in the student version, and this is for the more technical side of engineering, graphics and design. It also has some learning curve, but there are lots of good tutorials available to help students do this. However, it is important to note that now these technical subjects, CAD software has got a rather big download size. SolidWorks is also a very good technical CAD software package, which is freely available in the educational package. Autodesk has a vast range of software packages available, and for technical drawings, we also make use of AutoCAD, which is an extremely strong and versatile software package for CAD design, and it also has quite a big download. The educational version is also for free. One of the last notes that I would like to make at the end of this video tutorial is that I always encourage my students to make use of Google to search for topics that we have already discussed or to search topics that we are still to do in the future, and that they get a good and broad perspective from various teachers, because there are very good teachers out there and very good material available made by teachers, and it just gives the diversity on a topic so much depth. And it is a tool that they can use for free, and it is a tool that is going to help them to understand the work better. If they understand something that another teacher teaches on the same topic better than how I could explain it, it is a win for everybody. I dedicate this video tutorial to Abbots College Pretoria East, in particular to the principal, Mr. Niels Geertsema, and the rest of the staff at Abbots College Pretoria East for the wonderful work they do with the grade 8 to 12s.